Good evening. I'd like to welcome everyone to this February 9th, 2023 Board of Selectmen meeting. I'd like to call the meeting to order at 6 p.m. First order of business would be to approve the January 26, 2023 Selectmen meeting minutes.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
I agree.
Aye.
Thank you, Sheila.
Remember that we're hybrids, so you have to call on Sheila.
That's right. This is the
I
public...
feel so special.
There
You
you
are
go.
special.
You are special, Sheila. Item number 3 would be the public forum. This is an opportunity for anyone who wants to address the board this evening with any items that are not currently on this evening's agenda. We don't have anybody in the physical audience. Do we have anyone in the virtual audience, Dave?
We have someone named Lori with her hand up.
All right, please put her up. Good evening. Are you there, Lori?
Yes, good evening. Hi.
Hi.
I just wanted to know if there's any update on the village parcel and the new town hall plans. I didn't see anything on the town website.
There's nothing new as of this evening. We are currently working through the process, but we don't have anything new to bring out to the public as of yet. Lori, do you have anything to add?
There is a town.
No?
There is a town hall building committee, and that committee is meeting with the architects and trying to develop a plan that they will bring out to the public and seek public feedback on. But at this point, we do not have a plan.
Does the committee have any information to share as they go along, or?
They're in the programming space analysis right now, and they're trying to develop a plan to bring out to the public, so they don't have anything at this point.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, any other hands, David?
Yep, David James has his hand up.
Good evening, David.
Hold on one moment.
We're about to promote you. David, can you hear us?
He needs to unmute.
David, you need to unmute.
There we go.
Okay, now can you hear me?
We can. Good evening.
Okay, just a silly question because nobody else is asking any questions. But about 3, 4, maybe 5 months ago, somebody made a proposal for the selectmen to purchase solar-powered speed restriction signs. And I believe it was approved by the selectmen, but I've never heard anything about it ever since.
Well, you are correct in that. And that's a good question, Dave, because I was asking myself that same question the other day and just kind of assumed that we, due to supply chains, we hadn't gotten them yet. The chief isn't here, but Lori, do you know where we are?
It did take a while to get the signs for that reason, but we did get them just as winter was coming, and so we haven't put them out yet, but the plan is to put them out this spring.
Okay, good. That's all I want to know. Thanks.
Thank you, David. Okay, Dave, anybody else in the audience?
Nope, that's it.
All right, moving on. Item number 4 would be to consider the renewal liquor license submitted by W&A Incorporated DBA Cape Pier Chowder House, located at 79 Pier Road. This application has been reviewed by the appropriate town authorities, and we just need to approve it.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. All those in favor, present, I understand you have to abstain.
Right.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Sheila?
Agreed.
Okay, the motion passes 4 and 1 abstention. Okay, item number 5, presentation of proposed June 2023 ordinance changes. I see Tracy O'Rourke
Here I am.
approaching the microphone.
Okay, so I'm going to talk about the first 2 revisions that are being proposed. The first one is to the administrative code regarding the Cape Porpoise Pier committee members. Currently, they require 75% membership be registered voters of Kennebunkport And the peer committee is asking to change that to 75% of the membership are commercial fishermen. So they're the ones who use the pier. I guess the committee feels that they would have the most say. The thing to keep in mind is that the registered voters are the ones who spend the money on the pier, so that's something to consider.
Well, yes and no. It is an enterprise fund, but the reason that we did this was because due to the unaffordability of entry-level housing in Kennebunkport, we're gonna run out of fishermen in town. And so this was more a way for us to be able to preserve the fishermen being able to control or make the best decisions for Cape Porpoise Pier, seeing as that they are the ones that use it and best understand, how to do so.
Yeah, I have a question. I noticed in above, we talk about commercial fishermen from Cape Porpoise Pier. Should it read at the end, commercial fishermen from Cape Porpoise Pier, or is that redundant? Or is there a reason why that was left off?
I don't know. This was presented to me by the committee, so
Yeah.
I'm not sure how they came to this wording.
I got the same question John's got. I wrote down.
So I guess that would be a question for Ed.
Should we have a
Oh,
commercial
let's-
definition of a commercial
We
fisherman?
probably would have to add that.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So if the board is in favor of moving forward, in March, I should say, we'll take it to legal review once we've had a couple of discussions around it and certainly ask those questions.
Good, perfect.
But
Good.
looking for feedback at this point on all those ordinances.
And that's definitely helpful. Are you good with that, Tracy? Have you gotten enough? Okay.
Yeah, I'm just
Okay, thank
bringing
you.
it forward.
Yeah, absolutely.
As it was
It's your
presented
fault.
Don't shoot
to
the
me.
messenger.
It's your fault.
Right. No, I just wanted to make sure you had enough
yeah.
information to
Yep.
move forward.
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
Okay, and then the second one is also the administrative code, and this was brought forward by some residents about changing town meeting from Saturday morning to the Wednesday night after the Tuesday election. So again, I'm just bringing forward their request to see if you would like to put that on the ballot.
Yes, this was brought to us, and I believe the consensus among the Board of Selectmen, and again, I don't profess to speak for them, they're all here this evening, was that, we would, if this was asked of us, we would put it out. We're not sure that it's gonna change the attendance. If it does, that's terrific. I prefer to meet in the evening. But one thing that we should make note of to anyone listening is if this does take effect, it will not take effect until 2024.
Correct.
So,
Okay, so you're good with the wording as it
yeah,
is?
Sheila?
Everybody?
I'm not a fan.
Okay. Any other
But-
comment? Oh, I'm sorry.
But it's going to be up to the voters.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
No, the wording's fine.
The word looks good to me.
Mike, you good?
Yep, I'm good.
Okay, thank you. Thank
All
you,
right,
Tracy.
So,
gonna-
so just as a reminder, the first two, because they are the administrative code, they have to go to the administrative code committee for review and recommendation. And so we'll go through that process as well.
Right. Okay, and then Michelle is gonna take over for the next few.
Great. Good evening, Michelle.
Michelle.
Oh, good evening, Ed and board. Okay, so the first one that I will be going over is the changes to the ADUs for the LUO. So the main reason that we're bringing this forward is in concerns with LD 2003. So we're responding to that. As you remember, that's the affordable housing piece of legislation that has a section that directly addresses ADUs.
Michelle, I don't mean to interrupt, but for the folks at home, can you just tell them what ADU stands for?
Of course, yeah, sorry about that.
It's okay.
They're accessory dwelling units, so kind of like accessory apartments. So the major changes that this ordinance revision would hold are seeing that ADUs are now seen as permitted uses, meet minimum square foot requirements. It would be intended as primary residencies, so not eligible for short-term rental licenses, as well as they would be exempt from additional parking requirements per LD 2003.
Okay.
That's what I got.
Any questions?
No, let's see.
Sheila?
I'm good.
Okay. Okay, I guess we
Great.
can move on.
Sure. So the next one is also in regard to the land use ordinance. This is for private road construction. So the main purpose for this is because the town is under contract for a new ladder truck, as many people are likely aware. So this is to accommodate for that, for new private road construction, foreseeable future. So ultimately what we did was we sent along the ladder truck specifications to the engineer, and we received back detailed spec and design for the 4 private roads. Right now we've received them for a 16-foot travel way, and that's encompassing of a wide turnaround, hammerhead, and cul-de-sac. And we are expecting a 20-foot as well in the foreseeable future. We haven't received it back yet, but we have been in communication with the engineers.
So what happens to older roads? They just go up on the curb then? Is that the idea? So obviously the new truck can be accessible on older roads, right?
So I'd say you're going outside of Michelle's knowledge and
That's fair.
expertise
Yeah.
on ladder trucks. But I think the answer is, and we're happy to have Chief Everett come talk to you about it because he was involved in this, but they'll do the best they can, like on some of our smaller streets that we have that have been here for a long
You just
time.
ride
I'd
up
like
on the
to-
curb, and
I'd
that's
like
what
to
you
have
gotta
some more
do.
knowledge.
Or you run it, or you don't run it in all the way, and you have the hose, further, for the engines, and in terms of the ladder, sometimes it's not always accessible. But we certainly, depending on the emergency, do the best we can in any situation.
I'd like to have the chief come in and talk to us.
Sure.
If you would, that'd be, because I'm not sure I'm happy with it yet.
Anyone else?
No?
Okay. Well, that's all you got, Michelle? Are you
I have the
doing
next.
land use ordinance revision, resource protection?
Sure am.
All right,
All
let's
right.
hear it.
So the major purpose of this is surrounding the digital flood insurance rate maps that are likely to be coming out soon. So this piece anyway, is mainly dealing with the resource protection zone. And the major impact that these flood insurance rate maps would be having on the resource protection zone is that they'll be impacting the coastal floodplain. And as you know, there's a significant amount of area that overlaps for coastal floodplain and resource protection, so they're pretty intertied. So from that, with this update, there would be a significant amount of developed area that would be falling under resource protection. And we're looking to exempt that developed area, seeing as that's not the purpose of resource protection, and it's mainly seen to regulate undeveloped area that's a resource.
Okay. Sheila, did you have anything?
That was very confusing.
I know, and I'm sorry.
So basically, with the resource protection zone changes, there are a number of properties currently that are developed that would be impacted by this, so that they would not be able to make, normal changes to their properties. And so this is exempting those already developed properties. Well, because a resource protection zone is, of course, the most severe kind of limiting zoning there is. And recognizing that those developed properties are already being used in a certain nature. So, we can have Werner come to the next meeting and talk about that in more detail, certainly.
Okay,
Chief Everett is also in the audience, in the Zoom audience, and he said he's happy to come on and talk a little bit about the private road construction.
I have just one question on this one first before we leave it. So if someone had a home on 50 acres that was in the development area, would this exempt all the 50 acres?
It would be abnormal, because resource protection is very limited in terms of, so my guess is a portion of their property would be in resource protection, and the rest of the property would be in whatever else is the underlying zone.
Because this is common practice, other towns have done this?
Well, these are new changes in the floodplain, but I would say yes.
It just seems to me there could be some creep in here. I just don't know if I see
I
all
think
the
what would
potential
be,
ways this
I
could-
think if Werner could give you a couple of examples.
Yeah,
so that you could see it in real life, it might make more
maybe later,
sense.
when we go at it again, that would be great.
Okay,
Yeah, we'll see this again, John. Again, I know this is your first go-round, and we'll see this, these things more than you're gonna want to before they actually make it
Good.
out to the public. So we will have ample opportunity to call in
Good.
people that we'd like to speak to and ask any questions that are on your mind.
Perfect.
So,
As far as the roundabouts and whatnot, I'm gonna get a few questions together.
yeah, Chief, are you
I don't
here?
have them on with me right now, but.
Well, I just thought he could talk and
Okay.
answer that first question that was asked.
Hi, can you hear me?
yes.
Yeah.
Hi, good evening. Go ahead, I guess, with your question.
I just had one, Chief. In terms of the older existing streets, when this new ladder truck comes down, is this going to restrict access to the buildings? Is that ladder truck going to be compromised in any way to be useful on older cul-de-sacs?
Yes and no. The reason we're making this change is so that it anything going forward accommodates the
Understood.
the newer, bigger size.
Yeah,
The other part where they were already built and they were built to a standard of what was then is okay. It just is more for the safety of everybody, where we don't have to back a large truck out of a long private drive. We can get it turned around in there. That's why the cul-de-sac or a Y or a hammerhead is an option.
got it.
As far as if we have to get the truck in there, we will. Yes, we're going up to a larger truck than what we have now, but where it's a 5-section aerial, it's not a whole lot longer in size than what we have, and it's pretty maneuverable.
Good, thanks.
Yep.
I guess while you're here, I do have a question.
Give Alan-
On 4 or more detached dwellings or residential dwelling units, you want a 50-foot right-of-way along with a 20-foot travel path?
Yes.
That's quite large, actually, isn't it?
It's good size. It's so where when you add houses, you're adding the responses, I guess I should say, to that area, and depending on if we're out in an area with no water or water, and if we have no water other than the dry hydrants, and we're going to be trucking water around, we need the room for the 8.5-foot wide trucks to be able to pass each other.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Casey? Okay.
Okay, anyone else?
Oh, good.
Thank you, Jay.
All right, no problem. Have a good night.
You as well. Okay. And you have one more, Michelle?
Yes, I have the
Okay,
last
thank you.
one. Yep, so this is the update to the floodplain management ordinance. So the main purpose of this is also due to the digital flood insurance rate maps changing. So we need to update our ordinance to coincide with that. We do not currently have a draft at this time because we're waiting on the model ordinance from the state. That is a pretty critical piece that we need to begin drafting because that has been vetted by FEMA. So again, we're just waiting on that coming from the state. But based on what it looks like we're going to be looking at for changes, we are going to request a full replacement rather than a line-by-line strikeout.
Okay. Do we have an ETA from the state?
I do not have an ETA at this time.
Werner's been pushing them, and they've asked why the hurry. We
So
tried to
next July?
explain the election process, but I think that he's hoping in the next couple of weeks to be able to pull something together.
Okay, great. Well, thank you very much, Michelle.
Thank you.
All right. Item number 6, presentation and adoption of the updated personnel policy. I believe Yanina is going to speak to this.
Yes, I just want to check, is board okay with me talking from here? Or
I'm fine
would you
with-
like me to
Yes,
go?
No, because you can be seen on television from
Okay,
there.
just wanted to make sure.
Thank you for asking.
Good evening, everyone. Yanina Nicholas, Special Projects Manager and HR Administrator. So a little over a year ago, I was brought in on the project of updating our personnel policy. Our current personnel policy was adopted in 2013 by the board, and it was created by Larry Mead. At the time, he was the town manager and he was leaving. Then few changes happened, and Laurie Smith came and took this project on, and ever since then, it's been a project in process. We decided that it was time, as I said, over a year ago, because of three different reasons. Well, one, as I've mentioned, the current policy was adopted in 2013, and it's been 10 years. And in current day and age, 1 year has a lot of changes, yet 10 years. Secondly, I've done payroll, so I know personnel policy not just in theory, but I've actually used it in practice, and I've seen it from the practical side, from the financial side. And I can say that some articles became obsolete and just simply didn't work because of COVID and because of labor shortage. And thirdly, the third reason was union contract. So we did go through union negotiation, and some articles diverged so much that they became just contradictory to each other. And we tried to mirror or bring them back together as much as possible. So as you will see, we made changes on three different levels. We made changes structurally, conceptually, and contextually. Structurally, we just try to make it as simple as possible for employees to find information and to refer to the whenever they refer to the policy, to find article that they need fast. Conceptually, we tried to go away from rule-making policy, not just rule-making policy, but also include the bigger concepts and ideas about the goal and background of Kennebunkport, and explain that this is the place that you will work, and we're trying to be inclusive and welcoming. And contextually, you will see the table that I attached with each article that we've made changes to. So the process it's been a long process. We started with Lori, Denise Brown, who was our current, at the time was a finance director, and me. Some meetings were 3 or 4 hours long, and we just went page by page, article by article. After that, we sent our updated personnel policy to the legal team, Drummond and Woodson, and we had 3 meetings with Drummond and Woodson, and we dived with them on the legal side, state and federal laws, and they explained some things, why some articles must be in this policy, and where we can change some articles. After that, we sent, again, reviewed policy to our union stewards and union representative, and they were okay and on board with the new policy. I talked to both stewards, and they asked a few questions, but those questions were not contradicting anything in the union contract. And lastly, we presented this personnel policy to our department directors. With that, our department directors were included in the process throughout the whole time. They contributed ideas, but the final product we presented to them, listened to their concerns, and kind of updated them on the process. So I also know that you've seen this personnel policy, and I received some feedback from you, and I incorporated that feedback. So I gave you, again, updated personnel policy as of today. So few changes happened. Board of Selectmen. In this policy, we referred to Board of Selectmen or Select Board, and it was a little confusing. So I tried to change all the wording of Board of Selectmen to Select Board, which actually makes a lot of sense, and it's way more inclusive. So there were a few just general changes, bolding stuff or italicizing stuff, moving headers. I would say the biggest change was on page 21. We talked about, in case of death of employee, the town would pay 50% of sick leave time. And one of you asked why it's not 100%. So we did change it to 100%, and that actually does mirror our union contract as well.
We're fortunate we haven't had to deal with that clause.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Good,
But it was nice thought, though. We will pay 100% if you will approve this policy.
Good.
And I'm not going to go through article by article unless you would like me to. and I'm open to any questions if you have any.
We'd be here all night, Yanina.
I know.
And I think you guys have done a wonderful job with this.
An awesome
Good
job,
job.
Yeah.
truly.
Thank you. It was a teamwork and
Yeah.
a lot of hours.
Are there any other comments from the board?
No, it was very thorough. I appreciated it. I asked a couple of questions today, and they were answered, I understand. And I have no.
John?
No, excellent, just an excellent job. I'm very comfortable.
No, I'm all set.
Sheila?
I'm fine with it.
Okay, and I am as well. So at this point, we should move to adopt it. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Sheila?
Aye. Aye.
Approved, 5-0. Thank you, Yanina.
Thank you.
Excellent work.
Thank you.
Okay, now on to the fun stuff. Accept a $200 anonymous donation dedicated toward the Emergency Food Fund.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Sheila?
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. Number 8, accept a $600 donation from the Church on the Cape toward the Emergency Fuel Fund.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Sheila?
Aye.
All right, again, unanimous, motion passes. Okay, now on to other business. Sheila, do you have any other business?
I have none.
Mike?
Nope, I have none.
John?
No, thank you.
Alan?
No, thank you.
Lori?
I would just remind citizens that tomorrow, from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m., and Saturday from 8 a.m. to noon p.m., we'll be doing our final wood debris collection days. We did put out notice. We did get some requests for a Saturday as well. So people are eligible if they are Kennebunkport residents, or they are being taken from property in Kennebunkport, to bring them to the Public Works Garage Friday and Saturday morning.
Has there been very much debris taken to the town hall? I mean, the town barn?
Thankfully not to the town.
Town barn.
There's enough there already,
Yanina,
just
Yeah.
across the street.
yeah, Yanina and I were there a Friday morning a week ago, and I would say it was very slow. We did have a few people come up on Friday. Saturday, I understand, was busier, but still with the cold temperatures and wind, it was,
Tough day.
it wasn't overwhelming, let's say that. And so tomorrow is supposed to be summer, I hear. It's the 4th of July at
Yeah.
50 degrees. And Saturday, the weather's going to be decent, so I anticipate we'll get some more traffic.
Great. I would just like to give one last shout out to the chief and Chief Everett and his fire department for the heroic work that they did during the storm we had 2 weeks ago when many of us were without power for several hours. We talked about it at our last meeting, and I meant to write them an email and tell them how much I appreciated it, but, they say the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Well, I guess we know where I'm going. But again, I really, really appreciate, not just myself, but I've heard it from many people in the community and this board. We are so fortunate to have such dedicated individuals, because I can tell you, I wouldn't want to have stood out there and watched traffic and in the cold and the wind and the darkness. And I saw people out there from their 20s to their 80s doing it, and it's just a testament to their devotion. So thank you again very much. Okay, can I move the warrants at this time?
So moved. Second.
Second.
All right.
Unison.
All those
Aye.
in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay, I heard you, Sheila, so motion passes. Okay, at this point, we are going to move into executive session per MRSA, section 1, subsection 405-6C, to consider the acquisition of real estate. And I do not believe we will be taking any action this evening, but we will be coming out and having an adjournment, so.
We
at this
actually
time-
need a motion in a
Oh, yes, I need a motion.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Sheila?
Aye.
All right. So we are now in executive session. Excellent. Well, we are back. Sheila is no longer with us this evening in the audience. We are out of our executive session and no action was taken this evening. So I would move to adjourn. Do I have a motion to
So
adjourn?
moved. So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we're done. Thank you.